Hello guys, it's Christian from Emotions and Wine. After last week, the great video about Etna Rosso cruise, if you missed it, I invite you to watch it. Today is something similar in a way, because we stay on an island. It's a particular grape, but completely different from Etna in every mean. So we talk about Carignano del Sulcis, as per title. So Carignan, the other ways of calling, there are other names, but these are the main. So Carignana in Spanish, they also call it Carignan, probably was the birthplace of the grape. Aragon is said northwest, so near Catalonia, behind. Nowadays in Priorat in Catalonia is the main presence in Spain for quality wines, but there is the blending with Grenache. Grenache is still the main. Garnacha as it's called in Spain. The biggest quantity was in the south of France, Languedoc area in particular, not Rhone Valley, and also there mainly blended. So in the end, Carignano del Sulcis, which is located in the southwestern tip of Sardinia island in Italy, is the most relevant 100% or almost wine with Carignano. Almost, because by law it's required 85%. So some cases they use a bit of other local varieties, but these wines are all 100% and majority are. So what makes it special that here is not in need of doing blends? We will discover during the video. Now a bit of introduction on the grape. So Carignan, apparently born in Aragon. There is another theory that it was the Phoenicians who brought it to Sardinia first, and then in that case from Sardinia would have moved to France and Spain. But from DNA studies seems more reliable the Spanish source, so the route from there to France and Sardinia and then South Italy. Also in South Italy you find it a bit, but not much. So is a dark color, usually grape, big yielding, so high quantities, no qualities. That was the history in South France for most time. Then of course later on, with the focus more on quality in the last decades, that dropped. High acidity, high tannin, late budding, late harvesting, so you need a very hot and dry, so Mediterranean is the best environment. So a lot of characteristics, very difficult. So that's why not that present in big quantities anymore, and mostly used in blends. So even Priorat, where nowadays there are top quality wines, it's still the second grape. Grenache, Garnacha is the main. In South France, I tried before some 100% in the Pays or things like that from Languedoc area. A couple of wineries, very interesting. Carignano del Sulcis is something of its own, probably the best habitat for this grape, and we will discover it today. So, first of all, why is special Sulcis? On the southwesternmost tip of Sardinia, said, really on the coast, near Carlo IV Island, Sant'Antioco Island, is not the most touristic area. Here is mainly farming area, and they farm mostly Carignano. So, is nestled between the sea and the hilly mountain behind, but is still exposed to the strong winds. So is alberello, so bush farming, and on sandy mostly soil near the coast. So it's really a particular environment that made something special. So if you are aware, few of the ungrafted vines, so still with the original root, Prephyloxera, are on sandy soils. So that happens in few places, and this is one of those. Is something very special to the place. This small area, there are just few million bottles produced, about 1,000 hectares, something like that, more or less. So it's not a big production. The appellation is from the 70s in Italy and can be different levels. Over time, they saw the potential of this wine, probably because that is the best microenvironment, microclimate, the best terroir possible for it. even to change all those tough characters like the dark color, the high yields, the structure of tannic and acidity, the dryness of the place, the windy, the salty, the sandy, making more elegant wines. The winemaking style also, because majority are doing about 2 weeks of maceration, that helps. Less extraction, so less color, less tannin, all together. So, but first is nature, finding the perfect habitat or adaptation also, and then the main interpreting properly and evolving in the winemaking style, etc. So it's really a special place, very lesser known, as I mentioned already in the video, by the way, link below, the lesser known regions. So Sardinia was one of those I mentioned, so here we are starting to talk about that region also, and with the most representative red. Even if it's not the most present, this is the most interesting for me, for the special terroir of the place, and this small corner of the island, remember, because there is plantation on whole Sardinia, but this is quite south, because when you see the map, it's just the level of Calabria or south of Spain, so that is really making it a special place and a special wine. We will see. Bottles open a while, as usual. 2 wineries, as usual. 2 different concepts, as I like the most. So we have Nero Miniera from Enrico Esu, the owner. Nero Miniera is the name, literally black mine. Carignano del Sulcis, DOC, 2021, 14 alcohol. Large label, as you can see, so one side the name, the other the informations. So a super tiny winery, 10 hectares only, the concept of the farmer that I love. And here we have a cooperative, so Sardinia is second to Alto Adige only as cooperative strength, quality, focus and cooperation. And this is probably the most famous, or one of the 2 most famous, Santadi. Santadi is the village where the cooperative is based. And this is Carignano del Sulcis Riserva, you see, Rocca Rubia, this is the name, 2020. Riserva means 2 years of aging between cask and bottle. So 2 different concepts and reality. 10 hectares, this is hundreds of hectares. They make many wines. For him, it's only 2 wines. He has only Carignano, Rosé and Rosso. So I start to pour. So Nero Miniera, the reference to the mine is because Enrico's father created the winery in 58. He planted the first vines. So the oldest vines are almost 70 years. So besides Alberello, ungrafted, also very old vines, because we are talking about 60 or more years, is a lot. And the father was farmer and miner, because this is a famous area of Sardinia for the mines of coal. In some parts of the vineyards, below the sand or clay, sand clay, there is coal, so the old vines can go to dig deep into also the coal. The yields with the ungrafted, with the sandy, with the windy, with the dry and hot, and the Alberello are very low. In his case, is below low. He's making about 10,000 bottles out of 9 hectares, which is ridiculous, because usually you have at least 30-40 hectoliters per hectare. In his case, we are talking about 10-15, which is really unbelievable, and is a huge cost because the cost of production is huge. This sandy hills, smooth hills actually, is not really close to the sea, is a bit in the northern part of the region, so the main hills and mountains are not far away, and the sea is a few kilometers away, so it's about 50-100 meters, that area, and you see all these spare vines spread it around, so it's really a tiny production. What I was saying before about the tannic acidity and everything, in the low yield everything gets smoothened. The color is not that dark at all. Of course, has still a bit of characteristic. The 2020 Rocca Rubia from Santadi is a bit more ruby, intensity similar. So here we can say still a hint of purplish, so still young in a way, while this one is ruby, not too intense. So that is already the first fact, and then we will see the rest. Both do short maceration, as I said, 12 days in his case, 14 for Santadi, so that helps to extract less. But the low yields already make, as I always say, the old vines, and then in this case ungrafted, so it's even more special. And then the low yields make it naturally balanced, the result. He is really minimalist, indigenous yeast, the least intervention possible, just 12 days of maceration, and then still for the aging of about a year, and then a bit of bottle refinement. So you wouldn't expect a crazy complexity. I will do next day tasting also for this, of course. So in the end of the video you will see the part done tomorrow. So far is this dark fruit, very shy at the moment, so mostly on the fruit, a touch of mineral, very firm. Of course it's still young, even the color is hinting at, but it's already drinkable. It's starting the drinking window, but it's firm. The acidity is fine, not too evident. The tannin is already quite gentle, honestly, considering the characteristic of the grape. But as I said, sandy, so elegance, the low yields and everything, and this warm and dry climate, there is not even big difference between vintages there. So all contribute to make it more refined. Santadi instead, Rocca Rubia is their second level. They have a top Terre Brune. This is Riserva, so as I said, minimum 2 years of aging. So Santadi is a bit inner, also near the hilly mountains area, but Rocca Rubia is from the vineyards on the seaside. Sandy clay, so it's a bit different, it's not just sand in that case, so may give a bit more structure. And ungrafted vines, just not specified age, I think they have various, so it's less prestigious in that. And they use French barriques for their top wines. Here is first and second passage, so new and used 1 year for 12 months. And then of course is aged in bottle before release. So 1 year older, different location, different soil, and French oak, so of course more complexity, quite different. The fruit is the first, those dark fruits also here, quite intense and pleasant. This is showy more. You have dark berries, and then you have a touch of spiciness immediately. And start already a hint of something like earthy. So it's not shy like the other. This is already showing a bit of complexity. Good intensity also. Good balance already on the palate. Acidity, tannin very gentle, even more than expected. So you see the perfect terroir making even the grape show differently. And there is a lot of elegance here. I can say the tannin is really silky. Surprise also. I never tried before Nero Miniera. I tried before a few times. Santadi is historical. I have good memories, so it's showing very well. As said, silky, gentle, good length, very pleasant on the palate, and very well balanced already. Their wines can age well, that is proven. So their top is aging easily 20-30 years very well. Rocca Rubia I guess also quite well, but probably less because it's already well balanced. Changing. So let's go back to Enrico's wine. This is really something special with only still aging, making it really express the Mediterranean without any external influence of the oak. Now it's marking more these dark berries, but still shy on the rest. I think this one will show more tomorrow. Yeah, the tannin here is still relevant. Good length, very pleasant. Also on the palate now doesn't show much yet. So this is young. I would say better to wait another 1 or 2 years. Let's see what we'll give tomorrow. Here you need food, absolutely. A nice beef or lamb. Lamb is typical in Sardinia. So for now, interesting and pleasant, but still shy. Here is showing more. The 1 year more also, of course, matters, but it's also the style of the wines, I guess. Here now is going on Mediterranean herbs also. Touch of minerality. So here is already good complexity. Yeah, very pleasant. Well balanced already, but still good freshness. Yeah, and the tannin is silky really, and great depth. You have this sweet fruit on the back, touch of victory of the spicy, but the sweet fruit is prevalent, long lasting a lot. So far already great wine, indeed. Here we are, 24 hours after, at Port Nero Miniera. So they showed already more in the evening, of course, yesterday. In a way, Nero Miniera developed a bit more. Elegance and finesse, we can even say, are the main characteristic. I'm a bit surprised also because the Carignano originally doesn't have these kind of levels, but here really we can dare to call it finesse. Impressive, especially considering the QPR, guys. Here we are talking about wines of 22-23 euros in Italy retail. This, of course, Nero Miniera you can find only in Italy, online you can find, as I did, because it's 10,000 bottles. But Santadi is present also around the globe, sold for these prices, and the quality is very high. So this one without oak, of course, also the old vines and everything will need more years, it's younger, but still show more complexity, even a touch of spiciness, natural from the grape. Now it's reconfirming first the fruit, then also a touch of Mediterranean herbs also here. This will show good complexity over the years. Now is medium complexity, but is a great expression of the grape itself. And on palate, it shows a bit more gentle. Of course, as I said, it's still not well balanced. The tannin is still evident, but with the time, it's getting a bit better. Staying there, good vibrancy, good length. So it's a great wine, honestly. For this value, it's a great surprise. Let's go for Rocca Rubia, Santadi. It showed a bit less development in a way because it showed already at the beginning, but more on the earthy, more Mediterranean herbs, marking much more than the other. This is more balanced, as I said. Yeah, now this Mediterranean scrap, I think is the definition, is really pleasant, giving this touch of complexity. Now little fruit here, there is much more of the other things, while the other still starts with the fruit and then the rest. So they are both layered, and this one in particular has all the layers coming together. That is something very pleasant for this level of pricing. Very nice. Yeah, length, pleasant, the fruit is sweet, then a bit spicy and the herbal, staying there. Fantastic wines, honestly, value for money, fantastic. So this is good complexity, great refinement, highly rated, for sure, a bit more than the other because it's also readier. The other will age better. It would be nice to throw some bottles in the cellar and see it later on. So the other is medium complexity, while Santadi is good complexity. They are both super refined and great tasting. So I'm very happy of the picks. I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, comment please, and salute.